There's a version of you that you've never fully met. It doesn't show up in the mirror. It doesn't post on social media. It doesn't speak in job interviews or first dates. But it controls more of your decisions, your reactions, and your relationships than you'd like to admit. Carl Jung called it the shadow, and he made a warning that most people never take seriously. Until you face it, it will keep running your life from the dark, disguised as things you'd never think to question. Your sudden anger, your strange jealousy, the people you can't stand for reasons you can't explain. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what your shadow is, how it secretly shapes your life, and, more importantly, what to do about it. Jung believed every person is made of two selves, the one we show the world, polished, acceptable, likable, the version we curate for others to see, and the one we bury, the traits we were taught early and often were wrong, shameful, dangerous, or simply unacceptable to express: anger, jealousy, selfishness, desire, cruelty, pride. As children, most of us learned quickly which of these got us punished, rejected, or shamed. So we didn't destroy these parts of ourselves. That's impossible. We just pushed them somewhere we couldn't see them anymore. Jung's warning was simple, and it has haunted psychologists for a century. What you don't confront, you don't get rid of, you just lose control over it. The shadow shows up without permission. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The shadow doesn't stay buried quietly, waiting for your permission to appear. It leaks out in the person you inexplicably can't stand, in the sudden anger that feels disproportionate to what triggered it, in the jealousy that hits far harder than it logically should. Jung made an observation that still unsettles people today. The traits that irritate us most in others are often mirrors, showing us something we've buried in ourselves and refuse to admit exists. Think about someone who genuinely irritates you, not in a small, forgettable way, but deeply, disproportionately. The co-worker whose arrogance makes your blood boil, the friend whose neediness exhausts you, the stranger online whose selfishness makes you furious. Now ask yourself, honestly, is there some version of that exact trait buried somewhere in you, a version you've spent years denying, suppressing, or refusing to look at? This isn't a comfortable question. It isn't supposed to be. Suppression doesn't mean disappearance. Most people believe self-improvement means eliminating the bad parts of themselves entirely, becoming endlessly patient, endlessly kind, endlessly selfless. Jung strongly disagreed, and modern psychology has largely proven him right. Suppression doesn't erase these traits, it simply removes your conscious control over them, and they resurface in ways you don't expect and often can't explain. Consider the businessman who suppresses every flicker of aggression at the office, staying calm, agreeable, endlessly professional. He doesn't become a peaceful person. He becomes explosive at home, snapping at his family over things that don't warrant it, because the aggression didn't disappear. It just found an unguarded exit. Or consider the people pleaser, the person who buries every selfish thought, every boundary, every no they wanted to say. They don't become genuinely selfless. They become quietly resentful, sometimes for years, carrying a silent bitterness toward the very people they keep helping. This is the shadow at work, not gone, just hidden, and hidden things don't stay controlled. They control you instead. The shadow in relationships and power. The shadow doesn't only affect how you treat yourself, it shapes your relationships, and this is where it gets strategically important. It shapes how easily others can manipulate you. A person who has never confronted their own capacity for jealousy is far easier to manipulate through jealousy. A person who denies their own selfishness is far easier to guilt trip because their unacknowledged shadow makes them desperate to prove they're not what they secretly fear they might be. This is why the most emotionally stable, hardest to manipulate people aren't the ones who claim to have no dark traits. They're the ones who have already looked at their capacity for anger, pettiness, or cruelty and own it consciously instead of frantically denying it exists. There's nothing left to exploit in someone who has already admitted to themselves exactly what they're capable of. Integration, not elimination. So, what's the actual solution? Jung's answer wasn't to destroy the shadow, hide it deeper, or spend a lifetime fighting it. It was something far more difficult: integration. Integration means acknowledging, without flinching, yes, I have the capacity for anger, for selfishness, even for cruelty in the right or wrong circumstances. And instead of pretending these capacities don't exist, you choose, consciously, when and how they get expressed, rather than letting them control you from hiding in moments you didn't choose. A person who has faced their shadow isn't more dangerous than someone who hasn't. They're more honest, more grounded, harder to destabilize because there's no unexamined part of them left that fear or shame can hijack. The people who seem the most calm, the most quietly powerful, the hardest to rattle, they're usually not the ones without a shadow. Everyone has one. They're simply the ones who stopped running from it, stopped pretending it didn't exist, and started looking at it directly. Jung's real message was never about becoming perfect or endlessly good or without flaw. It was about becoming whole, accepting every part of yourself, even and especially the parts you were taught to hide. The question was never whether you have a shadow. You do. Everyone does. The only real question is this: are you controlling it? Or has it been controlling you this entire time?